The NBA offseason is kicked off with the finals still in progress as the Memphis Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic in exchange for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 pick swap. While on the surface that may look like an overpay for a player that has never been an All-Star, and some have argued that point, however, it's not likely that any of those picks are going to land in the top half of the first round of the draft, and at that point, you'd be lucky to get a quality starter out of any of those picks. In other words, there's a very high probability when it's all said and done that Bane is the best player in this deal by a significant margin, and when you get the best player in the deal, it's hard to criticize. On the other hand, Bane himself was the 30th pick in the draft, so you never know. The people who praise this trade for Orlando rightly point out that this trade addresses their greatest need, more shooting. The Magic were dead last in the league this past season in made threes per game and three-point percentage. Bane is a 41% three-point shooter for his career. Of course, that's not the only thing the Magic like about Bane. He's a solid defender, which fits in with the team's primary identity. He doesn't require the ball in his hands all the time, which is ideal since Banchero and Wagner are going to have the ball most of the time. That said, he is competent to make a play if they need him to, so on paper it looks like a seamless fit. But back to the shooting part. While Bane is a great shooter, that doesn't fix the Magic's problem. As mentioned previously, the Magic averaged a league-low 11.2 made threes per game last season. KCP and Cole Anthony combined for 2.6 of those. Bane only averaged 2.7 made threes. Granted, it took the Magic duo 1.5 more attempts per game to hit theirs. In Bane's best season, he made 3.6 threes per game, and if we used that number as the replacement for KCP and Anthony last season, that would have bumped Orlando all the way up to 27th overall. Still not good enough. So what is my point? Is it that the trade wasn't really worth it after all? No, my point is that it is a good start, but it would be a mistake to think that any one player, even if it was prime Steph Curry, could give a team enough shooting on their own. Being a good offensive team in today's NBA requires good shooting from all over the court. Let's look at the teams in the NBA Finals, neither of which starts anyone who is considered a premier shooter in the league, none of which even have Bane's reputation. And we're going to use their regular season numbers, not even the supercharged numbers the Pacers have in the playoffs. Charting the starters for each of the 3 teams, Thunder, Pacers, and Magic, you can see that the Thunder and Pacers have the majority of their players in the green, meaning they shoot over 35% from 3, which is good. The Magic, on the other hand, have only one starter, Bane, who is in the green. Banchero, Wagner, and Suggs are all bunched up in the low 30s, and Wendell Carter Jr. is an abysmal 23% three-point shooter. To be fair, I should point out that Isaiah Hartenstein did not hit a 3 for the season on 19 attempts, so he's way off the grid at 0%. But we can reasonably replace him with Cason Wallace, as the Thunder like to do when they can, who gives them another 35% shooter. But more than the focus needs to be on any one player, what we are looking for is the overall average. The Thunder and Pacers are both around 37% as a team, whereas the Magic is about 32% as a team. So the question becomes, how do they trend upward? The hope is, of course, that each of these players can up their own percentages a little bit. And there's some reason to be optimistic. Suggs shot 40% from 3 last season, but that does seem to be the outlier. Wagner was over 35% his first 2 seasons before his shot abandoned him the last 2. Perhaps he can recover it. Wendell Carter Jr. seemed to be trending up as a shooter, shooting over 35% each of the previous 2 seasons before regressing this season. So maybe the fix is just trusting that a couple of these guys will be able to have better shooting seasons next season, and that will go a long way to unclogging their offense. Frankly, I'm a little more skeptical that will work out. I think the best option may be to bring in more shooting. Here are a couple of ideas. Of course, these are entirely hypothetical. The Magic could pry Porzingis from the Celtics for Jonathan Isaac. When healthy, Porzingis gives the Magic a stretch 5 and a rim protector. Isaac is cheaper, which is why Boston would accept the deal. Carter would still be insurance against Porzingis' health, or he could be used as a trade chip at that point himself. But ultimately, if Suggs, Banchero, and Wagner can't develop into at least 2 out of the 3 being solid shooters, then as much as Magic fans love that core, it may be necessary to break them up. The internet's favorite trade of Suggs for Darius Garland makes a lot of sense for both sides, or perhaps Magic could offer Suggs to Minnesota for Naz Reid and Dante DiVincenzo, getting 2 shooters out of that deal, though I'm not sure how the trade machinations would work. Bottom line though, I do really like this trade for Orlando, and even if there are no other changes, this is a really solid lineup. I think they can be an Eastern Conference contender next year. Let me know what you think. Where would you rank this Orlando lineup in the East?